back at you with another one. Part two. Part two of our Vince McMahon wrestling special, wrestling WWE special.
Yes, sir.
With our two wrestling historians, experts in the building. Yeah. So
where do we left off basically talking about?
Do you want to summarize?
Yeah,
for people. Go ahead.
We don't have to summarize.
Well,
I think everyone you saw part
we basically
one.
were going, telling the story of what's going on with Vince McMahon, and we left off
about to mention Brock Lesnar.
Mention Brock Lesnar's involvement.
Exactly.
Right.
Brock Lesnar also implicated in this alleged
exactly.
the beast. This alleged lawsuit.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar.
Despicable Mr. McMahon.
Brock Lesnar, NCAA wrestling champion, former UFC champion, WWE champion.
Olympian, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, that's Kurt Angle.
Okay.
Brock was like an undefeated national champion.
You said the same thing last week, too.
Wrestler.
When we were recording this before technical difficulties, you forgot that it wasn't Brock Lesnar, it was Kurt Angle.
It's true.
No, I was trying to reproduce last week. I already know.
So yeah, the beast incarnate. Tell us about his involvement, Chris.
So Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
There you go. Hey, you forgot one thing. He broke the streak.
That's right. The Undertaker's win streak at WrestleMania.
Yeah. So he broke the streak, obviously, and he's been the biggest star in WWE for the past decade.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of matchups with Roman Reigns, a lot of headlining of WrestleMania, and now he's gone. They basically got the Chris Benoit treatment.
Yeah,
right. So they get rid
Didn't
of a lot
Benoit
of
die?
He did, and because of what he
suicide.
He killed supposedly killed his family and then killed himself.
He deleted himself. Yeah.
So another tragedy happens, right? Yeah. And then that's basically what happens. You're gone. So he's apparently tied in. So they just got rid of him off of the WWE 2K14 cover.
Yeah,
so
you'll never see him in the middle of a ring again for WWE or UFC.
You say never say never. You never know. But
so Brock is gone.
Finished.
Yeah. So tell us about how he's mentioned in this lawsuit.
So
what's his involvement?
It is very simple so far.
Pretty simple, huh?
Very simple.
Okay.
Yeah.
He got sent a message. He asked Ms. Grant to urinate, and then he called her a bitch.
Right.
That's it.
But the basic idea of
it was in the contract, right?
Vince was using Janelle Grant as a way to basically re-sign Brock Lesnar.
Yeah,
right?
she basically
she was
weaponized
the of the contract.
Yeah, she was weaponized to his contract.
That's what she was being paid for, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So she was just doing her job,
but we don't
willingly.
know. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well,
the same way we were talking about Vince allegedly like pimping her out to the other executives and John Laurinaitis and stuff.
It goes.
That's the way he was using her with Brock Lesnar,
making her send explicit video messages to him and all of that, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know the involvement that he had with her other than that video. Right. So it's plain and simple.
Right.
But you could assume that if she was a part of his contract,
right,
that she was doing more than just sending a video of herself urinating.
Yeah.
Right? That's really where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest here, though. You can see women do a whole bunch of things for like $3 on OnlyFans.
You don't have to pay.
You don't even have to pay on most places, but you understand what I'm saying? Like she was getting paid to do all of this.
You also don't gotta do anything.
Doesn't that make it willing?
You also don't gotta do it if your wife is able too. You got a beautiful wife, and what are you doing?
Yeah. But what was he doing is the big question, because he was just getting text messages as far as we know, right?
As far as we know.
What were Brock's responses? Are they going to come out? Because we need to know that.
Probably going to come out. A lot of things are going to come out soon.
The videos I've been basically seeing are treating it like Brock is just finished.
Yeah.
Finished
What does that imply, though?
I guess it implies heavy involvement in.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what it feels like.
It's just a bad look. You know, he was supposed to be in the Royal Rumble.
Or is he like, fuck that, I did nothing.
Cut him out of it.
I want to be done with this.
No, I don't think it's that. I don't think they would use his. They want to use his name anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's associated with this case. Like he was supposed to be at the Royal Rumble. They took him out of that. He's supposed to be in one of the.
Or did he take himself out? Is what I'm saying.
No, they took him out. You know.
All right.
The Royal Rumble, they lost two of their top superstars. CM Punk got injured, and Brock they took out because of this case. So both of them are not going to be in WrestleMania. You know,
WrestleMania. I remember being a little kid having a WrestleMania 1 party.
I actually went to the first WrestleMania.
Wow.
With my dad. I was 11 years old.
I had a party.
Yeah.
How old were you?
11.
So I was 6.
Wow.
I was 6. I had a party at my house. Shout out to Terrence, who was there, Mario Sapp.
And also, before we go on, just to quickly touch on something that we spoke about in the first episode, John Laurinaitis, we were talking about his involvement in it. He has since come out and basically made it like he's a victim of Vince as well.
Yeah,
that's the way
this
he's
shit
playing
is crazy. So what? He should sue Vince too then, right? That's the only thing you can do.
I don't know how he's trying to play this.
He forced me to fuck her, Judge.
I know the reactions from most people, and nobody's believing them.
Yeah, I don't believe it at all. Do you believe it? Let me know what you think.
And then, we also touched on the different messed up scenarios and cases that happen with wrestling over the years. One of them we didn't mention was Ashley Massaro. I know Chris was going to talk about that.
This is the military thing, right?
Yeah, just to show you how these type of situations have just been running rampant over the years in wrestling.
Yeah, so we went about it in part 1 of this where we talked about some of the things that happened backstage.
Yeah, things he was on Donahue getting accused of shit.
Exactly.
And look, I mean, there's been in the past a lot of people who have allegedly did something. They got rid of them immediately. Look at Enzo Amore. Look at Velveteen Dream.
Right.
I loved both of them.
And I think Enzo Amore basically proved that he didn't do anything.
He proved he didn't. I think Velveteen. They still
got rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Velveteen. I think
that came false because they would have never kept him. The company kept him.
Okay.
Hold on.
People.
Who's Velveteen?
So Velveteen Dream. People thought that
the Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he was. Really a great wrestler.
Going to the dream world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people thought that he was talking to kids, wanting something out of kids.
Yeah. And Enzo Amore.
Yeah.
Bada boom, realest guy in the room. How you doing?
But it wasn't because
I remember that guy.
It wasn't about.
So it was the tall guy or Enzo Amore?
Enzo Amore. He was falsely accused. He even did a rap song about it. But they still got rid of him.
This guy's a rapper too?
Yeah, he's actually a really good rapper. Actually, I like his songs.
He's cool.
He's got a very different
he said
style.
He's cool.
He does.
I met Enzo. He was great, and he even gave me
Enzo's a great guy.
He gave me his CD of his rap, and he signed it.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh shit.
But anyway, so basically, he got accused of grape.
Yeah. And unfairly let go.
And Velveteen Dream, they heard a voice message and they thought it was something else, and it wasn't because the company thought it was going to be.
So it was proven to be bullshit, and they still let him go. You're saying?
But the only reason why
they were letting Vince get away with this?
No, because Vince left.
Yeah.
Vince is gone.
Okay.
Well, all right.
But I'll say this.
Yeah.
Last part about Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
He was with the company, but the fans didn't want to see him anymore because they thought it was the fans that thought that he did it.
Yeah.
So then WWE said, okay, we're going to let you go because no one's going to buy the ticket if you're there. And it showed because then after when he left, he tried coming back doing independent stuff. And people were saying, no, I'm not going. I'm not bringing my kid, all this other stuff. And so then he just had to stop pro wrestling for a few years. He still stopped. But he made an apology video basically saying like, not sorry of...
Sorry you feel that way. I didn't do it.
Basically, like I didn't do it, but I should never put myself in a position where you thought that way. Basically,
so let's take.
But you're
it back.
in that position every day of your life.
No.
There's women everywhere.
No. This wasn't women. This was like a whole thing with like kids. They thought he was,
Yeah. But anyway, let's take it back to Ashley
Okay,
Massaro and
Yeah,
Vince's
so you know,
Stay away from the kids.
and then the Ashley situation is very sad.
Right.
I think it's probably one of the saddest stories in pro wrestling.
It is.
Definitely.
It is.
Like you can make a movie about it, and I think everyone in the room would
A
cry.
movie?
People
cry.
are wondering
cry.
what she would be saying about it today.
Well,
you know.
well, I think we know exactly what she would be saying.
Yeah.
And
But
most people.
And what's that? I don't know.
What's her
like,
story?
Like I looked, I remember reading her story.
Yeah.
Her suicide note when she passed away, and I was like,
Yeah, anybody
Kinda-
could have wrote that.
I was kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little teary eyed. I was like, oh my god, like this happened, like it was that bad.
Yeah.
So they were doing a show for tribute to the troops.
It was a troops show. Yeah.
They were doing it.
Shout out to the troops.
I'll let you, you know,
Let the
do your thing.
empire do its thing.
Well, once you get to the end of the story, I don't know if you're gonna push that button because it's really bad what they did, man. It's really bad.
The troops did something bad?
The troops did something bad.
No.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No,
Not whose troops? Not our troops.
our troops. That's the way it is. But and obviously there's always something wrong going on in any type of field, no matter where you are. But in this story,
Yeah.
so they went to Saudi Arabia
Right.
to do the show.
Right.
And she was one of the 4 chosen or whatever of the females to go there.
Yeah.
She goes.
Now this is
One
back,
of 4?
This was when.
What happened
This
to the
is
other
back
3?
when?
Anything
early
happened to the other 3?
2000s? When did this happen?
I don't believe so. Nothing. I don't think anything happened to the rest. I'm sorry.
When was this? Early 2000s?
2005.
2005,
Probably. Or
okay.
2006 around.
Okay.
So she wasn't feeling good. She was getting like cramps or something like that, and then everyone was telling her, "Oh, well, maybe it's."
So she had her monthly menstrual cycle.
That's what it was. Exactly. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Bloody
Exactly what it
mess, I
was.
tell you.
So she, you know, was like, "I'm not feeling good." This, that, but she was okay to proceed to do the show. They're like, "No. Listen, you're probably dehydrated. You're probably, you know,
Dehydrated.
You probably need to drink. You probably need to eat." So they brought her. So they were bringing her to the station or to one of the facilities that they had there. They had air conditioning, everything. They stuck an IV into her, so then, you know, she wouldn't dehydrate because that's what they thought. Because it was very hot in Saudi Arabia. It's very hot, you know. After that, I think she was sitting there for maybe a few hours. Jimmy Hart came to check in on her. You know Jimmy Hart, Mouth of the South.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I remember him.
So he came to check on her.
How old? He's still alive, that
Yeah.
guy?
So
Well,
alive.
shout out to Jimmy Mouth of the South.
Shout out
See, that
to
you can
Jimmy.
shout out. This is the best shout out you could do all this whole episode. Only good shout out.
He's a good guy.
That's the only good shout out.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
Anyway, so
I guess. I don't even know.
so then apparently she's waiting there for a few hours, whatever, and for some reason this guy came in. Now she couldn't really tell if he was part of the military or whatever, but she was this guy apparently it was his birthday.
Yeah.
And he was wearing like a different outfit. He was wearing like
It
shorts
was
and an orange
determined
shirt.
he was a soldier, though, right?
Happy
think
Born Day.
He had to be he was like a doctor, I think, of the military or
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was his birthday.
I wish I
Apparently that's
had.
what it was.
I'm the I got a PhD. I wish I had that.
And so then
I
he
gotta get
walked
that.
in. He walked
I'll
in
get
with
it.
this woman, right?
Yeah.
And I guess he just took Ashley to, I guess, to help her,
Right.
whatever. And he
Took her to help her.
stuck one IV, took out the IV that she already had, and stuck like a few of them. She stuck like 6 of them. He took her to the back room somewhere, and this woman stood in front of the door, make sure no one was coming in.
This woman.
Yeah.
You mean
was-
soldier?
I don't know if she was a
Wasn't
soldier.
it a
She could have been.
military
She
thing?
could have been. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She was unsure of like the guy, but
So
I
the
think he
idea was that
too.
This is all allegedly.
doctor allegedly did things to her behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So took
Poor
her into the
guy.
room. No.
Poor guy.
No.
This is part of the hashtag Me Too.
No, I don't think so at all. You don't just kill yourself and then say, okay, hashtag me too. Like that doesn't work. If you have in your suicide note, you're not after the money. You're actually depressed. That's how it works.
So
You
all
see what I
right.
mean? But anyway.
So, all right.
I will continue. They stuck about 6 IVs into her.
Trying to help
This
her,
one
right?
guy.
There was already one in her.
This guy made sure she was paralyzed and couldn't move, couldn't scream, couldn't do anything.
That's crazy.
And he basically raped her
Right.
for it, and she didn't know how long it was, but she said it felt like eternity because she couldn't move.
Wow.
Couldn't
But she was
scream.
aware of what's going on.
She was aware
just
of what was
kinda-
going on. Yeah, she was aware. She came and she went to go tell people
She
about it.
came?
and everything.
So she
So
liked
she-
it.
So she went to go tell other people, like higher management and everything,
Yeah.
Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
And they're like pushing it under the rug.
Yeah, they try to get her to bury it.
Yeah.
Right.
To bury the whole
that
In
they-
other
so
words,
that they
in
didn't
other
look
words,
bad.
she got paid.
I don't know. I don't know if she
I don't
got
know.
paid. They just told her to shut up about it.
So hold on,
basically,
did she go to the
what's
cops?
been said. I'm not sure about that part of it.
Well,
I
that's
know
an
that-
important
I know
part
that-
of it
I
because
know
if
that-
she didn't go to the cops, then she got paid. They told her to shut up. Here's whatever. Here's $1 million. Shut up. And
Yeah.
that's probably what they did. And she accepted that and then regretted that later on.
Could be. Who
That's
knows?
what it
I don't
sounds
know
like
that
to
part
me.
Of the story. She wound up hanging herself. In
Or
her,
did
in her
she get
apartment,
hung?
You know, just mentioning her is just adding to it's just another event like this that happened during pro wrestling that it seems like Vince tried to brush under the rug. It seems like these type of stories just keep following it.
Yeah, like we mentioned
know
in
what I
part
mean?
1, which I'll put up here,
Yeah.
we spoke about the airplane incident and a few other incidents.
Yeah, and we spoke about I know Chris touched on how the certain skits from the Attitude Era were kind of weird and sexual in certain
you would tell
ways.
you both were telling me they were telling me off camera about
Yeah.
some of these skits.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
Pretty
with his
disturbing.
own daughter.
Yeah.
With his own daughter. One
Oh,
of the skits,
man.
she was saying, "Oh, I was 17 years old, and you had me going to dinner with these men, and you
saying
promised
it,
them
hold
I
on.
would do
Time
things,
out,
and
time
I
out,
did them." And
time out.
This was live on wrestling.
Was she 17 when it was live, or was she supposed to say?
in
it?
the
said-
skit, she said,
said,
"I was
"When I was
17, and you
13."
were sending me out with
Yeah.
these guys, promised
But
them I would
was
do
she
things with them."
doing that?
I don't know.
See,
they're trying to.
this is where I got to play devil's
the
advocate.
idea was real life blending into.
But hold
Exactly,
on, it's
that's
got to
it.
be devil's advocate. Like, I have an entertainment company. It's a pretty fucking amazing, aggressive, violent, explosion of entertainment. What can I do that's most shocking?
Could be, but
Right?
I mean,
That's
you gotta,
kind of how I see it.
yeah.
Well, that's probably how.
But he's using his own daughter.
But that's
you know?
probably
So what? She
Another-
works for the
another
company,
skit was-
right?
that-
At this
another
point,
skit was when she was
she's-
pregnant in real
hold
life.
Hold
Go
on.
ahead.
She worked for him at
She
this
was
point.
yeah, of course, she was on TV.
All right.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't his daughter and it was another female it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the shock value is
Yeah.
what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say.
I'm just saying when you think about these weird skits and how it relates to this case and these other cases throughout the years, it's
He's an extravagant man.
another time.
Extraordinary, some
Another
might
time,
say.
she's actually pregnant, has a kid coming, and one of the storyline ideas he had was that the kid was either
That's
his
what I said,
or her
disturbing.
brother's.
Very
and her and her
disturbing.
brother Shane shot the idea down. They never went with
Very
that angle.
disturbing.
But
But
it just
also
makes you think. It
shock
makes you wonder.
value, entertainment. Like soap
I get
operas,
that.
things sort of happen
Yeah, yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
So I don't see any
Yeah,
difference.
shock value sells, basically.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well,
I get
it was during the age of like Too Hot for TV, right? Like
Uh-huh.
Jerry Springer. I think I touched on that last episode. I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
the Attitude Era was wild.
and like, look, it had some great moments. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But when you look at the segments, you look at the skits that they did back then, and then you look at what's going on with Mr. McMahon. You don't turn around and, like a light goes
Yeah,
off and,
and
say,
you-
"Oh, well, maybe."
It
Hey, hold
also
on a
makes me
second.
think of his childhood when he said things happened to him. So now is it like, was that so normalized in him that he's now passing it on to his son and daughter? You know what I mean? Does it tie in that way? Is it was it normalized to him to his childhood that he carries it over into his business? Because that skit with Stephanie, you promised men I would do things with them, is basically what Janelle Grant is claiming happened to her. So that's kind of odd.
But now the whole thing is,
Yeah.
do you believe that, this man, the father,
Mm-hmm.
would have been doing that with his daughter?
No, that's not the implication.
Well,
But that's what you have to. That's what you are implying.
That's not what I'm implying. Maybe him, but not me.
I'm saying with the whole skit.
Okay.
That's the implication.
No, the
behind
implication is that she was with other men that
That's what I'm saying.
Pushed
Forced
her on,
her.
but not onto him, onto the other executives.
That's what I said.
People are
That's what
doing
I'm referring to.
People are doing videos and asking, "Was Stephanie serious in that skit?"
No, I don't
You know what I
believe it.
mean?
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
This is shock value entertainment.
But don't forget, he gave the interview to Playboy magazine where he said his own mother did things to him. So would it be that unusual for him for that to bleed into his own child? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, nah. I think he was also going for shock value in the Playboy interview.
I mean, he could have.
Could be.
I don't
Could
know
be.
about the Playboy interview, but in the Attitude Era, that's exactly what he was going for. But you can't say that these ideas just didn't come from anywhere. I mean, they could have. I'm not saying that they couldn't. Look how many look at South Park, for example. Look how raunchy and how
I
hilarious
love
it
it.
is. But you know, there's people who are not fucked up. Basically, like Trey Parker and I forget the other guy's name.
Josh
you don't-
Stone? Something Stone? Matt Stone.
Matt Stone, I think it was.
Matt Stone.
You don't hear anything bad about them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But with Vince McMahon and what he did, there's a lot of stuff coming out from his skits. But you won't see something from something like that from South Park. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess Vince McMahon's name has kind of been
South Park
dirty
is
for
a
years.
cartoon. Those characters can get away with more.
But then
that's why South Park is what it is, because the cartoon can navigate through shit.
Yeah.
You understand when we're talking real life individuals having to
No, but I'm talking about the
this.
creators. I'm talking
It's
about
different.
the creators and their minds and how it works. Like you could have something as crazy and as raunchy as you want it to be. You could be very raunchy and nobody cares. Everyone loves raunchy.
I'm not
But-
saying Vince McMahon isn't a pervert.
But I'm saying
I'm not
that
saying he's
Vince-
not disturbed or mental or this or that. You know, my whole point is you got to see, why was there no criminal charges?
Now apparently there is
know?
now, right?
Well, I think they're looking into doing it.
Well,
I saw a
somebody
few videos
should.
talk-
At this point right now, I think we're up to John Laurinaitis.
John Laurinaitis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, John Laurinaitis has basically come out and it's saying he's a victim of Vince as well. That's the way he seems to be playing.
Come
this.
on, he's playing that card.
I mean,
You little
anybody who's
pansy
been doing
boy.
videos about this, nobody really believes him.
So
you know?
so he's trying to say that he was forced to have sex with this woman.
I think that's the angle he's taking. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never heard anything like that.
That's insane. I mean, you think about John Laurinaitis, you're like, all right, he was in the scandal before, right?
Yeah.
And the other scandal with McMahon.
He actually, when Vince McMahon stepped down, I think Laurinaitis stepped down about a month after.
Exactly,
Yeah.
or around that time frame. So it's kind of like forced.
And that takes us to like several chess moves that were made where Vince basically stepped down with all of that past stuff when he paid the girls $15 million.
15 million.
Shelled out $15 million
Whoa.
in, like, I think non-disclosure agreements as well.
These girls got paid.
Yeah, they got paid. But and then rather like he felt he was losing control of the WWE, but he steps down and sells it to TKO, to Endeavor, and
that's Dana White
and Ari Emanuel.
Ari Emanuel.
And so then they right away appoint him as director of the board, basically chairman of the board or director or something like that. Was
so
his title.
basically, he still ran the show.
Yeah, like I've seen a couple videos saying it was like almost a hostile takeover of his own company is what he tried to do. Now, the interesting part is that TKO might have done the same thing, but to him, to try to get it, because what happened was okay. So she basically they promised her $3 million to sign the non-disclosure agreement, but only paid her
That's
$1
right.
million.
We spoke about that in part one.
They only paid her $1 million.
I'll put it up here.
And then it was sold to TKO. So the decision to pay her the remaining $2 million would have been on Ari Emanuel's desk, and they didn't pay. They decided not to pay her.
Gotcha.
Now, why is that? Is it? Do they want to get away with not having to
Setting
pay for
them
the
up.
$2 million? Or
Setting them up. It's a setup
to get out of there. And if you look at the chain of events,
sounds like shots fired.
Yeah, if you look at the chain of events, they announced a $5 billion deal with Netflix, the WWE.
How much?
$5 billion.
B with a B.
Yeah.
$5 billion? Holy
yeah.
shit.
And then they go on the New York Stock Exchange. Vince is there, rings the bell.
Oh, he was there.
He's there, ringing the bell. And The Rock is there. And they announced that The Rock is now on the board of TKO.
So they put Rock on the board while Vince was still head of the board, the chairman?
Yes. And then 2 days later, Janelle Grant files her lawsuit. 3 days after that, Vince McMahon resigns. So
within 5 days, within a week,
it looks like a perfectly orchestrated plan, possibly,
to destroy Vince, to get him the fuck out.
The door. How could they have not have known about the severity of this? They knew they had to know that she would sue.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then, they appointed Rock to the board and they promised him the main event match for WrestleMania.
What?
Against Roman Reigns.
And it wasn't supposed to be that.
No, it wasn't. But the Rock and Roman
they're like
part
eighth
of the
cousins.
Samoan bloodline.
Yeah.
The largest family in wrestling. You did a show about it. I'm sure you'll throw the link up there for the people. But this is one of the biggest matches in wrestling history. It's a match people have been waiting for years and years and years. And so maybe the idea was that they would insert The Rock into the WrestleMania main event to kind of take some of the attention away from this Vince case. Who knows? But the thing about it is it was bad timing because just like there's a villain to this story, which is Vince.
There's a hero.
There's a hero.
Who's the hero?
Cody Rhodes, the American
Cody
Nightmare.
Rhodes.
Yeah. Now, Cody Rhodes, Chris knows this, has been trying to finish his story for 2 years, which is basically to win the belt that his father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
I remember him a little bit.
Yeah, you know Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Son of a plumber, if you will.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
So Dusty fought Superstar Graham for the championship. They basically made it like he won it, but then snatched the belt away from him.
So, shit. They just jerked him and took it.
Yeah, so Cody Rhodes' dream is to win this title, and they've been telling the story. He won the Royal Rumble last year. They gave him the main event at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns, and he lost.
You know what this reminds me of? This is kind of like Bush Jr. and Bush Sr. Yeah. Saddam wanted Bush Sr. deleted, and Bush Jr. deleted him.
The Royal Rumble comes around again, and Cody Rhodes wins it again. And now he gets to pick who he wants to face at WrestleMania, and he wins the Royal Rumble, and he's pointing to the Roman Reigns in the stands, in the box.
Second year.
I want you. So everybody's expecting Cody Rhodes to beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. A couple days later on SmackDown, who waltzes out there but The Rock? And this has created all sorts of backlash with wrestling fans. We Want Cody's been trending number one all over the place.
Cody.
Yeah.
We want Cody. We want Cody.
They're spamming everything that WWE puts out. They're spamming The Rock's page.
Wow.
And The Rock is not a full-time wrestler. He's a movie star.
No, he's a movie star. He's not going to be dedicated to WWE where he's going to be wrestling and 3 times a month.
Chris, how educated is
7 months?
How educated is the modern day wrestling fan?
I mean, they're very educated.
They know the business.
You know what it is? Because this podcast after podcast has been dirt sheets for years.
Yeah.
And since the 90s, they started getting a lot smarter.
Yeah.
Because people started to understand what the business is.
Yeah.
So
they
when
understand the creative aspect of the business,
and
the fans.
And they've been just like, every single year that goes by, you get a smarter wrestling fan. But you also have a lot of dumb ones, though. Yeah. I got to be honest.
They're casual fans.
No. They're invested in what they're watching.
And The Rock versus Roman Reigns is going to sell to the casual fans. Will they remain with it? I agree. It will
to me, as a casual fan, who I'm not going to watch the match, but I think The Rock versus Roman Reigns is a pretty big match in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, it's something that intrigues me.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes, I'm like, Roman Reigns just going to beat him up.
It certainly does. But the fans respect the full-time wrestlers more rather than just a guy who's coming back.
It makes sense. You got to put the work in to earn the fans.
Yeah. So, and if you watch Monday Night Raw this week, they were letting The Rock have it. Rocky sucks. Rocky sucks.
We want that was Cody. A big thing. We want Cody. Hashtag Rocky sucks.
So it's
hashtag we want Cody.
It's going to be entertaining, this match, not only because it's a big match and it's for the Ula Fala, The Rock's grandfather.
The Ula Fala.
The High Chief Peter Maivia. He's the first tribal chief. So
the video this is really, up here once again.
This is for the tribal chief, for the head of the table of the whole bloodline.
Oh, shit.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And not only is it important for that, but it's also going to be entertaining for the fact that The Rock is going to get booed out of the building. You know? So, you know, he's, as much as Vince is a villain in this story for the terrible things he does, The Rock has now become a villain.
Well, isn't The Rock on video saying something about eating kids?
Yeah, I remember seeing something.
Eating kids, wasn't it?
That was.
I saw something about that.
Yeah, he said something like that, but I don't know.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's where we're at in this situation, you know?
All right.
Basically, the analogy you said earlier, you know, Bush Senior, Bush Junior. This is Cody's 9/11, basically.
Yeah. Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I mean,
how is all of this going to affect wrestling? Will the WWE
Cody's
survive this
9/11? I like that. It was a good one.
Yeah. Is the WWE going to survive and move forward? You know, how will this case affect that? You know, and you know, how will the storyline that they're doing now affect the future business of the company?
You know, I don't think the fans are going anywhere, even though they're upset a little bit right now.
Yeah.
They're fans. They're diehard fans. Yeah. They're not going anywhere. WWE is a massive global entertainment powerhouse.
You know, and in this case, this isn't over yet. You know, we don't know what new information is going to be popping
Honestly, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They gave it up. It's no longer WWE. Vince McMahon, no criminal charges. He'll just pay some money. All right.
Well, there's possibility that criminal charges are going to come out, especially. This is going to be a big case. This is going to be huge.
There's also a possibility that other girls come forward.
Oh, absolutely.
There are any, you know.
Did you hear I mean, we actually haven't talked about this, but did you hear about Tori Wilson? She was coming out and she was like, "Oh, they made me do panty and bra matches."
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
you know, that's something that just came to my head right now.
Yeah, we were getting into a little.
I don't know if
they used to do that in the Attitude Era, where they would just strip girls down to their bra and panties. They did it to Trish Stratus.
Yeah, I don't know if like that's ever gonna do anything though, because people are like, all right, well, that's what it was on TV. You knew what you were getting into. You know what I mean? But like the whole thing with Grant was a different story. That's just kind of like, you know. Anything that happens off the camera, something like that, you know, that's kind of rough. Yeah. I mean, look, Lita was forced into having a sex scene with Edge. So obviously when that came out, you know,
while Matt Hardy was still working there.
Yeah.
It was forced. She was forced.
And then she was going to get fired. And then she was like, well, what do I do?
So,
you know?
So hold on.
Okay.
Was he also forced?
Who was forced?
Edge.
You said Lita and Edge.
I don't think it was really. I guess I don't know if he was. I know she was.
I believe Lita cheated on Matt Hardy with Edge.
Yeah,
and then Matt Hardy and Edge were like working that angle.
Yeah,
in wrestling, like the real life angle in wrestling. You know, that was what was going on. But it's, you know, that's just another thing of how like these stories. You know, the skits were so weird and so depraved and so, you know, sexual in orientation.
Shocking.
You know? Shocking.
Shock value sells. That's what it always was.
Yeah.
That's what wrestling always was. Look at the giant we got that can beat everybody up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, it's always for shock value.
That's basically what it was. The Undertaker coming back from the dead. Oh.
Yeah. So that's what we get. That's the future. We get Rock versus Roman for who's the real tribal chief. And
so
also,
who's getting the Ulafala?
now they got to give it to Roman Reigns.
Yeah, of course.
Because then you're destroying two storylines. You're destroying Roman Reigns being the dominant tribal chief, most dominant wrestler of this era. You want him to pass Hulk Hogan's record for days holding the belt.
If he doesn't face
which
Cody.
means he has to keep the title at WrestleMania to do that. I think he'll pass it by SummerSlam.
If they switch and they do Cody versus Roman, then everyone wants Cody. They said screw Hulk Hogan's record.
If they let The Rock win the match, which is rumors on some of the videos I see that The Rock might be pushing TKO to have him go over and win the match.
It ain't happening.
Then their creative just doesn't know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, no.
It's not about creative not knowing what they're doing. It's the fact that he has the power. It's not about creative. Creative goes out the window.
You know what
it's
when
about
you have
when
you have
That's what it's about.
executives that sit there and tell you, oh, this is gonna make the money. This right here. It doesn't matter what creative wants anymore.
Roman Reigns holding the belt and passing Hulk Hogan's record is the power. Because that's why the company is doing better than it ever has right now.
Exactly.
Because Roman Reigns is a great heel. He's the top guy in the entire sport right now. If you're just going to make a part-timer, The Rock, come in, even though The Rock is a legend and he's a well-known wrestler, he's 51 years old, he's an actor, he's making millions per movie, he's not a full-time wrestler.
Be a full-time wrestler.
Neither is Roman. Roman's got a short schedule.
Of course. But look, WrestleMania tickets are already sold, basically, right?
Yeah.
So they sold because of Cody and Roman. Everyone said Cody and Roman's going to be it.
You have to finish the story with Cody and Roman.
Absolutely. And it has to be Roman. It can't be anybody else.
It has to be Roman.
And the other thing that I'll say on the flip end, though, is like, this is why you have The Rock. They just signed a 10-year, $5 billion deal with Netflix.
Billion. With a B.
Yeah.
$5 billion. So, with that, all right, they want those numbers to look sexy as hell. They want big numbers. And then, hey, look,
it's gonna
CM Punk is a draw. Brock Lesnar, draw.
Yeah.
You know what they both have in common? They're both not going to be there. Yeah. They're both not wrestling.
Yeah.
So
they had to do a little shuffling around.
They think, even if it's the casual fan, the casual audience that watches it, the numbers are still up. They'll be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. That's my point.
But as a whole, it's smarter to play the long term into Cody because you can't build new stars with only
Cody
using
can
old
come
stars.
along later on, SummerSlam or something like that.
No.
They already slow built.
Yeah,
Cody's story's going on 2 years.
All right,
That's
so
why the fans
what's
are so
another
pissed.
year?
This storyline.
What's another year? Build it up more.
This storyline was in the
You don't
crock
need another
pot.
year.
This was on the slow cooker.
That's also part
for
of my
years.
point, though, because his father had it jerked from him, and now he just had it jerked from him.
Yeah.
So
I
they're still building that storyline, is all I'm saying.
Listen, this is what you do. You have the match with Rock and Roman. You make Roman win. You make Roman pass Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And then you have Cody beat Roman for
That's
the
what
belt.
I just fucking said.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you got to do.
I think you switch it.
But you don't need another year for that. You can
I think you switch it.
You think you switch it
I
at
don't
Mania?
know. I don't know.
I
how it
think you switch Rock off.
I said whatever main
Or you
event.
switch Rock. Well, that's an option they have also to make it either a trip. They're not going to switch Rock out for Cody.
I'll tell you this.
Maybe they'll make it a triple threat match. But
WrestleMania-
Rock's fighting Roman.
I don't know what it was for WrestleMania 10, but WrestleMania 20, the main event, was a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship.
You talk about Daniel Bryan?
That's 30.
Yes. Okay, 30.
20 was Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and Chris Benoit.
Oh, okay.
Then you get
Rest in peace to Chris
and the family, of course.
and the family.
Really the family. I mean that was a tragic thing. What happened? Yeah, right. But, then you have the Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 triple threat match, which I think is the best match of all time. I think it's the best WrestleMania match, best story, best everything. But anyway,
which by the way, Steve, the Daniel Bryan situation, the people forced that situation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was
And they're trying to force Cody
they're
right
trying
now.
to force Cody, yeah. Hashtag we want Cody.
And Cody is an obvious main eventer.
Yeah.
day in and day out. He's a main event. He's one of the biggest draws they have right now. Who else do they have?
Yeah, and the WWE, by the way, on Monday Night Raw, they were smart about it and used the hashtag We Want Cody. They didn't pretend like the fans.
So they're not even playing games.
No,
they understand.
Yeah, they inserted
they're
that.
marketing it. You've been brainwashed.
Yeah.
And for what I hear is that they were handing out the papers, the little papers, We Want Cody.
Yeah.
Right? So sometimes at wrestling
they
hand out.
They're handing it out. Yeah.
But they took it and ran with
they
it,
already
which is
know.
brilliant
marketing.
Brilliant.
But here's the thing: was it by a fan or was it by WWE? And
either or, it don't matter. The fans adopted it, so it doesn't matter.
What's the option? Ignore
the answer
it?
is it doesn't matter.
Do you ignore it so that they really go crazy, or do you use it to market so that you make the fans think they're gonna get what they want?
I mean, you never know. I mean, maybe. I mean, they ignored CM Punk for 10 years. His chant. How many times did they chant his name when they didn't like something on Raw or SmackDown?
They not giving the fans what they
chanted CM Punk's name.
Yeah.
Until this happened. Until CM Punk came back.
They like shocking the fans.
Yeah, that's the whole shock value entertainment.
Brock beat the Undertaker,
is what it's always been.
When Brock beat the Undertaker streak, the faces of the fans were like,
yeah, that one guy with the eyes out. You know?
That's why I don't like wrestling. To me, it's like a action ballet.
It's like
I'm not a fan of it.
Soap opera for men.
Yeah, it's a soap opera ballet.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Gymnastic soap opera.
Give me that Hicks soap
I'm
opera.
not saying these men are not physically fit and you know crazy fucking athletic and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm just not a fan of the scripted fake shit.
It's okay.
It's like, would you watch something called Broxing, where it's fake boxing and it's all scripted?
I don't know.
It would be weird, right? It would just be weird. Like, what wrestling is like fake UFC to me.
It's okay to say you're boring. No, I'm joking. I joke about that with everybody when it comes to wrestling because it's one of those things where you really love this thing. Like you keep tuning in or not.
I know.
Or you stay away from me. Like, all right, that's not for me. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like just one of those things that it's just with everybody.
Yeah.
You know. So everyone has an opinion on wrestling for the most part. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah.
So, but I love it. Man.
I just can't wait to see The Rock get booed.
Boo!
It's going to be, you know what's crazy? He got booed when he faced Hulk Hogan. Now he's going to get booed.
Yeah.
While being the older guy in this situation with the new guy.
I wonder
you know
if they'll
what I mean?
cheer Roman and boo Rocky or just boo them, boo the whole match.
No. They're going to cheer Roman.
Yeah, they probably will. They probably will.
And I don't know if they. I don't. The
fans are looking at it like Rock is being very selfish for doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean? Yeah, yeah. They're basically saying you're not the people's champ anymore. Cody Rhodes is. You know? So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I got some questions for you guys.
All right.
You know, we'll start over here.
All right.
Who's your favorite old school? It don't even have to be old school. Retired wrestler.
Okay. So definitely as a kid, my favorite wrestler was Randy Macho Man Savage.
Oh, yeah.
Dig it.
All right.
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Slim Jim guy. That's how you know him.
Yeah.
You know him better as a Slim Jim guy.
I know him. I know him as a wrestler.
But you're not. I mean,
how
only
many
because
Slim
you're
Jim,
a historian.
How many Slim Jim Macho Man commercials that air nowadays? Come on, Steve. I bought the WWE Network back then. I knew him before that. I own Macho Man T-shirts. I'm a Macho
shit. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
All right. So, to you now.
All right. So, I'm going to pick someone that's still alive. Someone that I've seen live.
It could be alive. It's just retired. No longer wrestles.
But when you're there.
Not a wrestler.
When you're there and you see them live, it's a different experience.
I've been to wrestling events numerous times throughout my life.
And you probably have a bias towards them that you really like them because you saw them live, right? You have
bias?
Chris,
no, I definitely don't. No, not even a little bit.
You don't think you like Hulk Hogan more back then than if you grew up like in my time? You know what I mean?
When we grew
I stopped watching it back then.
Yeah, it wasn't a worldwide conglomerate when we grew up. We could see famous wrestlers that local schools.
No,
Yeah.
of course. but I'm
Regina,
saying,
You know what I'm
Regina,
saying?
right here.
yeah, no, I go to the independent shows. I love them, man. I met so many wrestlers from them. But when you go to a show, when you go to like, especially
I've
one
been
of
to
those
the
big
Garden
shows,
and all of that.
and you feel the energy from the entrances to everything. My pick would have to be The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And I say that because
I used to
of
spit on them and throw starbursts at them.
Why?
The ones I didn't like.
The ones you didn't like The Undertaker. Why not?
No, it wasn't The Undertaker.
Oh.
The ones I did not like.
Oh, okay.
So The Undertaker would be your favorite.
Because I was there. I would say
Well, they're
as a
running
retired
through the
wrestler?
tunnel.
Who?
Who? I'm not mentioning names.
I don't know. I thought you were talking about The Undertaker. I'm focused on The Undertaker right now.
I'm not.
Undertaker, the reason why I say him is because when I felt his entrance, you get goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like I saw when he lost to Brock.
It always reminded
at
me of like
SummerSlam?
Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, The Undertaker popping
Yeah,
up.
that's
like,
the look they were
He
going for.
he
that's
came
what it
out
always reminded me of.
and the pyro, the fire that comes out, and like you really got goosebumps when he was having that match with Brock at SummerSlam. I was there at Barclays Center, and then I was there the Raw after Mania.
Yeah.
Okay, for after WrestleMania 35, which I'm wearing this guy, and Elias doing his shtick with the guitar, and he said the dead man, like that was his last right, and you hear dong, and it's like you feel it. So, and that's something that you're never going. That's something that you're never gonna feel again, right? Yeah. So that's definitely.
Undertaker's genuinely a good guy. That they love him in the locker room. He's a well respected guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, to you now.
Yeah.
What was the biggest sort of match you remember growing up?
Yeah.
Not
the biggest match?
Yeah, the biggest match that you remember, the most impactful. Like holy shit.
To me, the best match I've ever seen, the best match I ever witnessed was Randy Savage versus Ricky Steamboat for the Intercontinental title.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like widely recognized as the #1 match of all time from most people. But the biggest match in terms of like real impact had to be Hogan versus Andre the Giant.
I remember that.
That was just, that basically took the WWE off into the stratosphere, that match. Yeah.
And how about you, Young Buck?
My Young Bucks. So I would say the biggest match and my favorite match of all time, the feeling and everything, has to be the triple threat match at WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan versus Batista
What year was that?
versus Randy Orton in 2014.
2014.
They call that Yeselmania, Steve.
Yeselmania.
Yes movement.
Yes movement. That's it.
Okay.
And basically what we were talking about earlier with Cody, with what they did, that's basically what happened with Daniel Bryan, except it happened at least, And it's just like the way that, like, if you saw the match, like Daniel Bryan got knocked out. He got put through the table. What's going to happen? He got a stretcher out. Took the stretcher. And he was going up the ramp in the stretcher. He got
Sounds like a pretty crazy match.
He got off the stretcher. And then he came back to wrestle. And then he won the match. And don't forget, he wrestled Triple H before that, too. So it was such like a...
Yeah, they rewarded the fans.
So that was your favorite match?
I would say that was my favorite match.
Was
it was a big WWE Championship match.
The crowd was going bananas.
Oh, yeah, man.
So there's a question for both of you. Yes. I don't care who answers it first.
Okay.
Who's got the best outfit?
Outfit? Like ring gear or like entrance gear or like...
That's optional.
Well, you want me to take this one quickly? I think the most iconic outfit is the Road Warriors. The shoulder pad, the spiked shoulder pads from the Road Warriors.
Road Warriors.
Yeah,
I like
the
that
Road
answer.
Warriors. The shoulder pads. It's
back
iconic.
in my time when I actually watched wrestling.
That left such an impression to me, seeing them come into Black Sabbath's Iron Man with
them
the
big
shoulder
spikes
pads on, man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah,
that's an iconic outfit.
Sick, dude.
I would say, if I had to think, anyone really...
Yeah, man.
I think someone with a robe. So, like, either whether it's Macho Man...
something classic like Ric Flair.
I love Macho Man when he had the thing and he had the tassels come down. I love the
Macho
tassels.
Man had great outfits.
Yeah.
I just don't want to say him because they already mentioned
I'll
him.
say Macho Man. I'll take Macho Man. I'll take it.
Macho Man had great ring
I thought he was
outfits.
great.
He's one of the best ones.
I'll hold it. Yeah. Macho Man was great.
Hogan too. The iconic red and yellow, the heel black and white of the NWO. Those are very noticeable, very memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So
anyway. Last question, real quick. I'm just gonna point and you answer. It's real quick.
Okay.
Is Vince McMahon guilty? Is Vince McMahon guilty?
Is Bill Cosby guilty? Yes. Yes.
He said yes. There you go. Chris says yes.
Do I think he's going to have to wind up paying this girl a shitload of money?
Criminally
yes.
Guilty.
There's no criminal case. So, no, he's not criminally guilty unless they press charges. They have to prosecute him. Yep. And we'll see.
Yep.
We'll see because they're saying that there's a possibility of that. That's some of the new information. I think there's going to be new bombshells on this coming out in the days ahead. So, we'll see.
You think not guilty or guilty?
Criminally, not guilty.
In general.
Yeah, that means not guilty. Not in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right.
There you have it, folks.
Case, so he can't be guilty.
Well, the case that they have, whatever it is, the lawsuit. Yeah. I'm asking.
There you have it. If we brought you any sort of entertainment, like, subscribe.
Yeah.
Join a membership.
Hashtag we want Cody, baby.
We want Cody.
We want Cody. Hashtag we want Cody.
Peace.
And we out. Peace.